What is going on, everybody? It is episode 403 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Today, I am really glad that you guys are not privy to our pre-show conversations. It gets spicy in here. You know, Brett.
Yes. People go to prison for lesser things.
And it's just us today, so there's no one here to check us.
There'll be
too out of pocket.
There'll be a leaked video someday, and we're gonna have a hard time explaining that stuff. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Jack White has come out and said that any celebrity who normalizes someone as fascistic and evil as Teflon Don, in this case Donald Trump, is a bad person. In this case, he's talking about Mark Wahlberg, he's talking about Mel Gibson, Joe Rogan, and Guy Fieri for some reason.
He got involved in this mess.
Which is why, if you look up in the chat, I put a poll up there that said, Frosted Tips, fascistic or neoliberal? You decide. You give us your vote. You have the power to say.
I think it's pretty obvious that Frosted Tips are fascist.
Well, what makes you think that? I mean, I would say, yeah. I mean, no, because when I think of...
you were very confident about this earlier.
I get more so than blonde, because I think blonde hair is communist, because then I think of Ivan Drago from Rocky IV, fighting for Russia.
Well, you're also destined for Frosted Tips as things are now.
Maybe I'll just dye it.
I'll
just dye it back.
It'll be worse to dye it brown, because then, you'll be able to tell that it's fake, and it'll be like, oh, he's dyeing it to hide his gray hair.
Hey, I'm not doing that one.
That's what it's gonna look like. So you can't do that. You have to embrace the Frosted Tips.
That is
even though they're fascist.
That is fair enough. I'm double checking here on something to make sure that I have to double check and make sure that the crisis meter. And then
did you?
I reset. I'm double checking to make sure that everything is working right now as we do.
Hold,
yep, there's the number. And we're back. We're good, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, share this video with your friends, get other people to come in and hang out with us. We like it when other people come in and hang out with us. Also, remember, all Super Chats $20 and over. We will just rudely interrupt the discussion. We will read that Super Chat right then and there without giving a second's thought to the opinions and emotions of anyone here on site. We will read it, and then we will get back to the discussion as quickly as possible.
The viewers have been on the upswing recently. I don't know if it was episode 400 or we're on a roll. YouTube is favoring us right now.
The Sound of Freedom video.
Continue.
Yeah, the Sound of Freedom video we did from a couple weeks ago did very well.
And so we got a little more related to Sound of Freedom to address today too.
We do. So yes, go ahead and like this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. All right, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Not just Jack White. We're going to talk about Jonah Hill, the mess that keeps on giving, as it were. More stuff has come out. More accusations have been leveled by an actress from Nickelodeon. It's a mess.
The breakup that keeps on giving not what it was supposed to give.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So we're going to talk more about it. We're going to talk about feminist Jane Addams being mad at feminists for, right? You call her feminist, right? Would you call Jane Addams an old school feminist?
She's definitely an old school feminist.
So Jane Addams, who was on the show The Idol, is very mad at feminists for coming up with what she calls an exploitation narrative about the show. So we're going to get into that because you don't hear a lot of mainstream women these days saying F feminists. It's just not a thing you see very often. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Friends Alumni Dinner So White. As it were. There was a picture that came out today of a Friends, the television show Friends, alumni dinner, and a guy came in and decided to say, hey, have you ever wondered why there aren't more people that don't look like you at your dinners?
I love the idea that he just walked up to their table and was like, hi, why aren't there any black people here?
It's funnier if that's actually what happened. It's cooler if that was actually what happened. So we're going to talk about that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you're ready, Mary, we'll just get started. Are you ready?
Unbelievably ready.
Unbelievably ready. All right, let's get started. First things first, we've got a couple of announcements. I can't show you the trailer, but the trailer for Willy Wonka is out. It's extremely forgettable.
Yeah.
It's extremely forgettable.
At first, I thought that Timothée Chalamet was going to be playing Charlie. And I was like, why are they getting a 25-year-old man to play a child?
Yeah.
But this is actually Willy Wonka's origin story. It's like the prequel to the official movies.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to top Johnny Depp's version of it, but I think they just saw the shirtless Willy Wonka thirst trap TikToks and thought, like, let's capitalize on this.
Very possible. Also, Hugh Grant's Oompa Loompa takes center stage because we all know
he's
that,
like a third of the size of the original Oompa Loompas.
and they were never going to allow that. Like Peter Dinklage wasn't going to get this role.
Give them the roles. This is
Yeah.
ableist.
This
is actually ableist.
And they're doing it again in Snow White and the Seven Dwarves with Rachel Zegler. Now it's just Snow White and the Seven Magical Creatures or something. I don't even know what they're going to call it. Or it's just Snow White, I guess.
This is BS.
Yeah, so
I won't stand for it.
You get nothing,
This
says
is
Hollywood.
discrimination. There are perfectly employable people with dwarfism, as we're supposed to call them, who have been cheated out of a role because they're avoiding controversy.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
The one from WWE had a lot to say about it when Peter Dinklage came out and made the complaints when they were talking about the casting from Hornswoggle. His wrestling name is Hornswoggle. I'm sorry, I don't know his actual birth name, but he was complaining about. He's like, look, by you complaining about it, Peter Dinklage, with all the money and power and sway that you have in the industry, you're making it harder on the rest of us to get roles by making it off limits to people to cast people in these roles because of social justice reasons. There's a $20 one there from Deuce Boogaloo.
He said, did you see the Wrights doing the cringe Jack White Who's shtick? Hate his soy take all you want, but don't pretend someone who's won dozens of top music awards and whose song became the official anthem of sports is some nobody.
Yeah, you can't pretend that.
Yeah, that's cringe.
That's not a thing.
But I think that they should have gotten the protagonist from what was it? Violent Night to play the girl accompanying Willy Wonka.
The guy?
No, the little girl.
Oh yeah.
They should have gotten her in this one.
Rewatch that movie. That movie was great.
Yeah.
That was a good one. See, we don't give bad reviews to everything. We enjoyed Violent Night quite a bit. Go watch the trailer. One thing this is something I've continuously noticed in Hollywood, and it's where I think a lot of the falseness comes from. What it is the movies have gotten more formulaic and more repetitive, but the music is always on point. So you hear this soaring, amazing score, and you want to emotionally connect with it, but the visuals don't connect with the music. So I'm watching this trailer, and the music is fantastic, but then you're just like let down by how bland and plain the images are.
I mean, it was okay. You didn't like the scene where they were like floating with the balloons.
It all just felt very 2023
I don't know.
to me.
I just don't like Timothée Chalamet, so
Not a fan.
I'm already biased.
Not a fan. So you're not going to see Dune? Are you going to come with to see Dune? Do you care?
I heard that the first one was boring.
Tim walked out of the first one. It was so boring, he said. I had to finish it at...
And I had never read the series, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I guess I'll have to watch it anyway. But
Yep. All right. So, guys, go ahead and watch that trailer after this episode today, I say. All right. Oh, I wanted to mention this. I forgot to send this to you. The original Calvin and Hobbes comic strip art sold for a hefty sum. I don't know if you read. It's like after your time, but Calvin and Hobbes was a very big
my
part of my...
high school teachers were big fans of Calvin and Hobbes and made us
look at them.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of the original strips sold for a ton of money. One for $174,000 and one for $156,000. Bill Watterson is a legendary comic strip artist. But to be fair, like, one of the things that's cool is, like, if you really think about it, the fact that he never merchandised Hobbes dolls is insane, considering how popular Calvin and Hobbes was. So
I'm not sure if that's like a testament to his integrity or just spite.
I mean, like, to him, I think it was artistic integrity, and he always seemed to go forward, and his comics were made with a lot of love. So I still have a lot of the anthology books back home. I loved Calvin and Hobbes as a kid, so I thought that was very cool. Also, Fran Drescher is being yelled at for going out and partying with Kim Kardashian. Can you picture her just annoyingly like, ah?
How is that tone deaf?
Because the strike is looming, and they're saying, like, maybe you should be out doing something about the strike and not partying with Kim.
Well, she's not going to be negotiating with the union.
Yep.
If she's off the clock.
Well, apparently they think that she should. It's kind of like the people who, like the weirdo communists who think that any money that you make in crowdfunding should just be given back or like put back in. Like they get upset at the idea of people making a profit. Here they're upset that you have time off. You're not allowed to have time off until you solve their problem.
What do you think of the Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian rumors?
It's hilarious because I mean, I just don't know if
I love their ship name Tim.
I don't think they're gonna have the same chemistry. I don't think she's gonna be as good for him. Granted, I guess he's not playing anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But he needs his lucky charm.
I think it was Bethany Frankel that was saying like they wouldn't work together because Kim Kardashian has to have the spotlight and Tom Brady is used to having a supermodel wife who, you know, kind of
deferred to him.
Yeah. But now that he's retired, I think it might actually be a good fit.
I mean, that's a scary thought to think of him on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
And I know it's really in for the Kardashians to be dating white men again, finally. So
well, plus, like what she's thinking about, she's like, think of all the brand opportunities on the show, like having him on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yes,
like there's money to be made there. It's money being actively left on the table if you don't bring him in. Like they could do whole episodes where basically Kim has to learn how to catch a football and he's throwing her passes at a stadium.
Yeah. Well, reportedly they were flirting at Michael Rubin's white party.
Who is Michael Rubin?
He's some random billionaire. I don't know how he's friends with all these people, but I'm pretty sure he's just paying to play.
Okay.
Like the way that it sounds is he throws this party on July 4th every year on his yacht and invites a bunch of celebrities and they just go because it's ritzy and they don't really know the guy.
So no relation to Dave Rubin?
No relation
to Ruben Studdard, who won season 1 of American Idol, or season 2 of American Idol.
Just a random billionaire guy.
Okay, all right. Also, guys, if you were wondering, in the eternal battle going on right now between Twitter and Threads, if you were wondering who the Taliban was throwing their weight behind, the Taliban has endorsed Twitter.
It's a powerful endorsement. You can't lie about that.
It's because they weren't banned all the time back in the day. They were allowed to keep tweeting while Trump was banned.
Okay, I didn't know they were free speech warriors.
The Taliban has their own like press person who's on Twitter.
But what did they say about it? There's like no other platform can accomplish.
Yeah, it says Twitter has 2 important advantages over the other social media platforms. The first privilege is the freedom of speech. The second privilege is the public nature and credibility of Twitter. Twitter doesn't have an intolerant policy like Meta. Other platforms cannot replace it. Well,
fair points.
I do like it when the...
Never thought I would say I agree with the Taliban, but... we can find common ground on this.
I like how this article says Twitter has fallen out of favor with many people since Elon Musk took over. That's a lie.
I like how Vice was trying to make Twitter and Elon Musk look bad by reporting this, but it actually is just funny.
Yeah, like, and it hasn't fallen out of favor. People threw mini temper tantrums for a couple of weeks, and then it all kind of went back to people who are like, I'm leaving Twitter. It's kind of like people who like...
Jack White left Twitter.
There you go. Is he still gone?
He's still gone.
He's still gone. Well, good for him, at least. But it's like when people, like when you do a sport like skating, which is not a team sport where you have to actively quit and then a new season starts so you know who quit. People who would be frustrated would be like, I'm quitting skating. And you're just like, you don't need to tell anyone. You just need to not do it anymore, right? So it's actually more of a cry for attention. So it's like, I'm leaving Twitter.
Well, it's like in 2016 when people said they were going to be moving to Canada.
Yep.
And they still haven't made good on that promise.
I've been waiting for the people to leave and just go. But and I saw a little bit from the other side as well. Not as much, but I saw a little bit of that, like when...
I don't think any Republicans were saying they're moving to Canada in 2020.
So nobody actually want to move to Canada. That's the problem is you have to then go... Why? So you can go live under Trudeau?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't sound better to me. That doesn't sound fun at all, if you ask me. So, yeah. I just find it funny because they keep trying to undermine the point that they think that Twitter is less important than it is. But they made Twitter the important platform it is. There's a reason why celebrities use it, right? The name Twitter and posting things on Twitter carries a certain amount of weight behind it.
Although surprisingly, like if you're a normie and your normie friends, if you were to ask them, none of them use Twitter.
I don't know any
people in real life don't use Twitter, and it's the same thing for Facebook. Maybe your boomer relatives use Facebook, but I don't think anyone is using it. It's just people all in other countries.
It was one of those things where for Twitter, like in skating, it made sense that everybody had an Instagram because skating's like a visual sport, so you post videos, you post pictures, but none of them had Twitter. Like
TikTok is the most normie social media platform at this point.
That's scary.
Normies they don't seem to be like chronically online.
I'm jealous, and I try to be less chronically online. I try to ask myself anytime we're covering a topic, like, is my point of view here the point of view of somebody who spends too much time on the internet?
Probably.
Like, yeah, usually.
It's okay, though.
Usually. All right. Actually, before we show Megan Meghan Markle. I do have to share this video that Shane H. Wilder showed yesterday.
okay.
I'm gonna play this. This was not very nice, but it did make me laugh. So let's watch this. Shane, I'm not sure if he's watching right now.
You don't want to be like this.
Let me play make it full screen. Hold on.
This is disgusting.
It's very mean.
This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it. Now, the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort. It's like a visceral reaction of discontent coming from this area. This area is not good either. I hate this, but I'm mainly worried about this. I win every time because I'm the best. So are you. This right here is my favorite thing ever in the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
That first part was not nice, my friend. Not nice at all. That was very rude. But it did make me laugh, so props on that.
Means we love blonde bread. And what's so wrong with that?
Fair enough. But Shane, you made me laugh, bud.
Ryan Gosling's Ken musical sequence has been previewed on Twitter now, and I was like,
Everyone
is
needs to
literally
go
bread.
watch it. Everyone needs to go watch it. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, Meghan Markle reportedly being tapped to play the lead role in the sequel to The Bodyguard. She better not be singing I Will Always Love You.
So the worst part about this is before Princess Diana died, she was being considered for the sequel to play this same role. So now that Meghan Markle is getting considered for the role, it's just feeding into her weird delusions about being her late mother-in-law, I guess. I mean, I don't know if that would even count.
But you know that producers, they just love the pomp and circumstance of hiring someone who...
Doesn't she feel she's kind of above acting now?
Probably. I mean,
I doubt she would take this role, but...
Would it be a step down? It's like she's admitting that she's...
But, like, no one wants her. Like, you need to get booked, sis.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's got
Take
money.
what you can get.
She's got money.
Or just retire. We would all be happy with that.
Well, they are. They're on their worldwide privacy tour as we speak right now.
Yeah.
They're taking time off.
So what, she would be playing an R&B singer?
I hope so. That would be really, really funny.
Or is she just going to be playing herself?
Hopefully
someone who's the bodyguard for a member of ex-royalty.
What if they make her the bodyguard in this? That would be amazing.
I don't think that that's going to happen.
That would be amazing.
She's definitely getting considered for the same role as Whitney Houston.
No, it would be hilarious if they make her the bodyguard and the guy's the one she's protecting and he sings I Will Always Love You.
He's going to be protecting her from those deathly paparazzi car chases.
I haven't seen that movie in years. I have to go see that.
There's going to be a great car chase scene in this one.
Amazing.
I know it.
All right. What would you like first? Would you like to see Cringe first? Because we got multiple Cringes.
Let's do cute and then Cringe.
Okay. All right. So first things first here, guys. We got this one here from Old Warrior. This is very adorable.
Aw.
Now look at that kitty.
Bocus was like curled up just like that on top of a box the other day.
He sits up on that box. He loves that box now, like right by the front entrance.
But he peed in the hallway, so he's a menace.
He's not as much of a menace as Usher, but he's getting up there. He's becoming Usher level menace. If I'm not much mistaken.
I love ginger cats, by the way.
It's adorable looking.
They're the best.
All right, what would you like to look at first? Would you like to look at Britney Spears, or should we look at?
Let's start off with Britney Spears.
Okay.
By the way, like I identify as the dog in this clip.
I feel a bit rude showing this, but I guess she shared it. So here we go.
It's public. She has a big announcement coming soon. I guess that announcement is coming today. So watch out, guys.
Oh, we got a $20 one there from Kerfuffle.
He said, hello, PCC family. I'm watching from the hospital as my husband, and, oh, I'm sorry, I misgendered you, and I are preparing to deliver our little girl, Ivy Suzanne, future PCC Timcast fan coming Earthside within a few hours. Have a great day, everyone.
Wow. Congratulations.
Wow. I don't think we've ever gotten a super chat mid-labor.
Like, that is amazing.
That's a new record for the show.
I'm going to have, like, I kind of want to get that framed.
Well, have a safe birth, delivery, and congrats to both of you.
Ivy Suzanne. That's
awesome.
That's
a pretty name, too.
It is. Wow.
I guess on that note,
that's a
Britney Spears, everyone.
So I guess let's make fun of Britney now, I guess. I feel kind of rude. Here we go.
The dog is just like, what is going on? She's getting into it.
That's the part where I was just like, why would you post it?
It's also
right?
like the intense sunburns.
Yeah. But also like
that
it's
hurt
like
to watch.
Like it's not like she just recorded it and hit send. She edited it because there's cuts.
Or she has a social media manager who is responsible for
She's got to be
editing
on
these videos,
something,
but
unfortunately.
I guess, yeah.
I'm with Lindsay. She will always be the pop star of a generation. I do feel bad for her though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is her like demented view of what's sexy, is like wearing a thong bikini bottom and weird cowboy boots and a pirate shirt.
I don't really know how I feel about it, other than like I don't follow her on social media, so it's not like this would be. I know people say that she does this stuff all the time,
but she's just showing that, you know, getting slapped by that bodyguard isn't going to hold her down.
Okay, the photo of the dog is amazing though. Like, look at
I love how the dog is just like watching her as she's going back and forth.
It's
mesmerized.
Yeah, it's a bit much, but you know what? She's a free woman. She's allowed to do what she wants, and when you've got Britney Spears,
this is
money,
America. She said it herself.
She says,
Isn't
like,
this America?
Excuse me, I thought this was America.
I'm free to writhe around on my marble floor.
She is. She's got the money. She can do that if she wants.
The tile
Good for
grout
her.
is giving.
Okay. All right. Let's do the other one's one. I feel more like we can make fun of it. This one kind of ruined my hope for humanity. Here we go.
Mike, ice cream so good. Thank you, Lopez. Slay, huh? Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. Yes, 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 yes. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. Take you, Blake. Take you, Jace. Gang, gang. Take you, George. Take you, I don't know. Take you, Tay. Take you, I am. Ooh. Ooh, yes, 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 gang, gang. Yes, 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 gang, gang. Yes, yes, yes.
That has to be exhausting. You know what it is? It's kind of like a game of Dance Dance Revolution. You know, like
I have to admire the work ethic, but I think what we learned today is that in order to get more super chats, we need to start popping individual popcorn kernels
with a
hair
flat iron.
straightener.
Yeah.
And I think what she's doing here, like, she's responding to this is so like, okay, on TikTok live streams you donate and it looks like a certain like sticker. Mm-hmm. And she has like an automated response that she does for each one.
Yeah.
But like,
Mary, you need your own
social media coming to?
You need your own yes when you get
yes.
When you get a 20. So yes, whenever you guys send a $20 super chat, Mary will say yes, and will be the cringe of the day on somebody else's stream. It's gonna happen.
This is global entertainment. This is globalism in action.
I don't know what I was even watching. Like I'm watching and I'm like, it's not as bad as the people who do the makeup and like talk about serial killers.
But this is like the lowest common denominator, like low IQ global entertainment that is going to like, this is how the internet is going to look in 10 years if I had to predict. Also, like the nonverbal comedy videos that you see on TikTok from like India and China, and those weird ads for like gambling sites and Candy Crush type sites that you see before YouTube videos. It's the whole internet is just going to look like that.
Yeah, slowly it's all going to be a Borg of just mental
and like
of just stimuli.
Satisfying aloe cutting videos with story time Reddit posts getting read by AI voices.
I'll admit. So one of my favorites is I love the channel note I'm talking about because I was talking about there's the guy named Hassan who does the Mickey Mouse ventriloquist thing.
At least that takes some creativity.
And he does ones where it's like satisfying videos and he basically makes Mickey make orgasm noises. Well,
he's like yes.
He's like, so there's one where it's like it's filling in like an arrow line with the paint.
Okay.
Or, you know, like where you paint over a line and he goes It's amazing. Everyone should watch that whole video. All of that dude's videos. It's like Hassan Khandir or something like that. But it's all the videos with Mickey and Minnie Mouse. The one where he pretends to be Minnie Mouse and rates cartoon moms is my favorite by far. Where he's like, Mrs. Jetson can get it. It's incredible. At least that, like you said though, at least that takes like he's actually good at what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Don't
disrespect this girl's grind.
Hey man,
We all have to get that bag somehow.
And to be fair, like, look at how many people are watching. Like, who are we to criticize?
What are we doing on this show? We should be popping
Yes.
Yes.
That Dan's fantastic. Yes.
He said, I would like my cringe, please. Yes. That felt very cyberpunk type of stuff. A billboard of that lady doing whatever people want.
Yes. So yeah, I think that maybe that's what it is. Like maybe she just said yes once and it like locked into her limbic system. And now she says it every time without even trying to. We'll be doing that soon after long enough.
What are her fears? What are her aspirations? Yep. We'll never know.
I have to double check and make sure that is, okay, we're good. Just making sure the volume is up, just in case.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And we have Doja Cat, right? You wanted to talk about Doja Cat.
Doja Cat has posted a photo shoot for 4th of July where she's wearing an American flag bikini, and the caption is "male gaze," as in male homosexuals, over the male gaze. Hot dog emoji, water droplets emoji.
Deep.
And I just wanted to say, like, Doja Cat, can you please explain to me point by point?
I mean, she's looking good. I'll give her that.
Explain to me, Doja Cat, point by point, how photos of you in a bikini, sucking a hot dog, squeezing your own tits, and covering your nipples with whipped cream and a cherry somehow is contradictory to the patriarchal male gaze. Tell me that.
Maybe she meant male glaze.
Because I don't know if this is supposed to be like feminist, like...
Yeah, the messaging isn't messaging.
It's not giving what it was supposed to give, Doja Cat, but I am relieved to see her finally have eyebrows again and not have a shaved head.
Is that real hair?
Great.
Is that real hair, or is
a wig?
It's a wig, right?
Yeah, she's still waiting for the buzz cut to grow out. So
that's what she gets.
I don't know. This is just exhausting.
Well, you know what it is? It's a victim of the fact that nowadays they feel like they have to shove a message into everything, and I'll tell you why. Because everything now, you no longer just exist in a world where you do. You now exist in a world where you do and have to write a caption for it. True. And nobody writes more annoying captions than women. Sorry, it's true.
But like,
it's always some generic inspirational quote that they got out of a book they found at a Hobby Lobby. And it's never actually inspirational. But in this case, she doesn't need to be inspirational. She just has to be vaguely feminist because she can't just post me looking hot in bikini.
Yeah, I would respect it more if the caption were like, here's a picture of me with my tits out sucking a hot dog. And what about this photo shoot appeals to homosexual men? Exactly nothing.
In the chat, they're saying, Brett, please zoom in for the boys. I can't on Instagram. I don't think it will. Oh, yeah, I can. No, it won't let me. We're stuck. Sorry, guys. We're going to have to deal with that one. But
I'm just saying all of this very clearly is to appeal to the male gaze.
But also, she doesn't actually say, like, she's always joking. She's always half serious, right? She's a troll.
I guess, but she's really bad at trolling. She thinks she's funny and she's not.
Yeah.
Like, she thinks she's internet literate and constantly shows us that she has no sense of humor because she can't take any jokes about herself.
I do love how the 2008 sunglasses are making a comeback.
They look good.
Those are very 2008,
They're very
2009.
Paris Hilton.
Yes, they are. Like I said, I've been watching that show, Las Vegas, and there's a lot of the Paris Hilton sunglasses in that show. So you know what? I really do believe that it is. You become a victim where you're not allowed to just be beautiful and be a little bit frivolous once in a while. Your frivolous beauty has to also be attached to some ridiculous meaning, even if there isn't actually a meaning there.
Yeah.
Like, which is kind of sad, right? Like, everyone needs a little bit of meaningless in their lives every once in a while. What better time than summer?
Well, it was cooler when Britney Spears shaved her head because she was having a mental breakdown. If you're shaving your head and shaving off your eyebrows to contradict the patriarchal male gaze and look ugly to men on purpose, then you're just showing you're obsessed with what men think about you.
Yeah.
Which is still not feminist.
Yeah.
Like if you were a real feminist, you would just be existing for your own sake.
There's this amazing video. I don't even remember it's like a couple that do comedy skits together. Sometimes they pretend to be in a relationship, sometimes they don't, but I'm assuming that they're in a relationship. And this one where she's the lady's like, it's basically, it's kind of like a play on a Ryan Long bit where she's like, I'm going to the women's rights rally. She's like, I'm off. He's playing video games. He goes, oh, where are you going? She goes, to the women's rights rally. He goes, oh, what are you guys complaining about now? She's like, what? He's like, I mean, besides the patriarchal American Western way of holding women down, and basically becomes about, it's a free the nips rally. He's like, I agree. You should absolutely. Oh, that was an Andrew Schultz bit.
Well, the problem with the free the nips rallies is a lot of these women should not be naked in public.
Well, yeah, it's never the hot ones at the free. Like, if you go to the free the nips rally, it's never the women you actually want to be at the free the nips rally. I'm just being real here. It's not really. It's not giving.
Yeah.
It's not giving. Doja Cat if she shows up at the Free the Nips rally, she's likely not freeing the nips.
Yeah.
Just saying.
This is unfortunate.
But it's do you think there's a way to solve this? I really do believe that it's like people look at the caption thing and they're like, fuck, I gotta write a caption and it's gotta mean something.
I don't know, like, just be matter of fact about it. I've seen other girls post pictures like this and be like, this is a photo of me with my boobs out. And I appreciate the honesty.
Yep.
But
I like that one. I like that better. Plus, it's just it just matters in this day and age what you post in caption, because it can also affect the post's visibility. Does she have any hashtags? I don't think she has any hashtags.
Credits the photographer.
Just credits the photographer. So you know what? She's not trolling very well. So.
No.
All right, let's get started then, shall we? Mary, tell us about Jack White. Tell us about Donald Trump, Joe Rogan, Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg, all of these people.
So Donald Trump appeared at a UFC fight over the weekend, and there were some celebrities that dared to meet him, shake hands with him, schmooze. They included Joe Rogan, Mark Wahlberg, Mel Gibson, and Guy Fieri. And Jack White is very upset about this.
Yes, he is.
He posted pictures of this on Instagram as evidence of what happened, as if they were committing some kind of crime. And his caption says, "Anybody who normalizes or treats this disgusting fascist, racist con man, disgusting piece of shit Trump with any level of respect is also disgusting in my book. That's you, Joe Rogan, you, Mel Gibson, you, Mark Wahlberg, you, Guy Fieri. This is a statement from me, not a discussion or debate. Jack White." And then he turned off comments so that nobody can respond to what he said.
He's such a baby. He's such a baby.
Also, like, no one cares what Jack White has to say. I'm not calling him a nobody, but, like, were we all anxiously waiting for Jack White's statement on this?
I was wondering, what did Jack White think about Donald Trump?
Yeah, every time I see new pictures of Donald Trump drop, I'm wondering what Jack White has to say. And then the video of Joe Rogan shaking Donald Trump's hand was just so funny to me, given that he's refused to have him on his show.
Yeah.
Because he obviously looks like a fan.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because...
And then there's also a picture of Mel Gibson just straight up saluting Trump from afar while Donald Trump wasn't even looking.
I love Mel Gibson. Like, I love Mel Gibson more every day.
He knew the cameras were out, that's all.
It's amazing. I do wonder sometimes whether they're addicted to TDS. They're kind of like a crack
whore, like a drug to them,
who's addicted to crack.
And when Elon Musk reinstated Donald Trump's Twitter account, Jack White said, "So you gave Trump his Twitter platform back. Absolutely disgusting, Elon. That is officially an asshole move. Why don't you be truthful? Tell it like it is. People like you and Joe Rogan, who gives platforms to liars like Alex Jones, etc. You come into a ton of money, see the tax bill, despise paying your fair share, and then think moving to Texas and supporting whatever Republican you can is going to help you keep more of your money. How else could Trump possibly interest you? How dare they want to keep the money that they earn from their careers?"
Yeah.
What a heinous crime.
But it's also like the way he's talking like a middle schooler. he's talking like a child.
Like he's writing in a Mean Girls burn
Yeah.
book about the girls that he hates at school.
This isn't how an actual adult talks about human interaction with other
No.
people. Even if you have bought into like this weird fantasy that the guy you're talking about is Hitler, it's a weird way to talk about another human being.
Also, just meeting and talking to Trump doesn't mean that you worship the guy.
Or even like him.
In fact, I think Trump's base, if anything, sees him more realistically than the people who hate him. They don't think of him as some kind of god. There was this quote from Mark Wahlberg in the article about this, talking about the first time he met Donald Trump years ago. And he said he was very Donald Trump-like, talking about the things that he does, things that he has, business interests, properties, stuff like that. But he wasn't ever mean or rude. But I don't think he asked me too many personal questions or about what I do. Like, we know that he's a self-involved businessman. And that, I mean, as someone who likes Trump, like, I mean, how could you not? He's a likable guy. I know that he's self-interested and fundamentally a liberal.
Yeah.
Who just happened to fall on the Republican side of the camp because the politics shifted away from him where he was a Democrat in the 90s. But like, I just don't think shaking hands with the guy means that you're normalizing him. Like, I don't know how much more normalized you can get after being the president of this country.
He's
It's not like he's some fringe figure.
He's delusional.
And at any moment that Trump wanted to, he could come back to Twitter and start posting again. And it would probably help him, but he's already normalized.
I was also told that he apparently pulled out of the CNN town hall. Donald Trump did.
Oh, interesting.
That he's not.
He
going
would destroy that, though.
I know, right? He like, it's really funny too, because I as a rule, I'm not really a fan of politicians ever, but Trump activates my nihilist meme side.
Your almond.
Yeah, like my nihilist memer side, right? So it's like, I don't like him as much as I like the way he upsets other people a lot of the time. And then seeing
Jack
how
White doesn't realize that by posting things like this, he's only animating more of that spite from people.
Yeah. And seeing it happen to celebrities who are essentially uncancelable, like a Mark Wahlberg or a Mel Gibson. Guy Fieri too, really.
Why is Guy Fieri getting dragged into this? He's as apolitical as it gets.
Like, is Emerald gonna come in and start beef with Guy Fieri and be like, and then Gordon Ramsay comes in and
then Rachel Ray gets involved somehow.
Hey, I'm down for. Okay, I went down a rabbit hole yesterday.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Here was so Tiffany Amber Thiessen had like a video of her. And then it's her in the 90s and then her now. And then now she's got like this cooking channel. And I watched like 10 videos on cooking with Tiffany Amber Thiessen. It was a bit of a rabbit hole to go down for like somebody who grew up in the 90s. So yeah, but yeah, like I don't know what you end up doing with this if you're Jack White, other than you're just doing it because the media's radicalized you so much.
He's also not even a boomer. He's like...
He was born in 1975.
He's pretty young to be this, like, anti-Trump to the point, like...
No, because he's still a celebrity, which means that most of them are anti-Trump.
Well, sure, but, like, you would think the people watching CNN who, like, hate Trump with every fiber of their being are in the older generation. Anyway,
no, no. The older generations are the one who tend to be more nuanced with it.
Everyone watching CNN and Fox is old.
It's the younger generation of people that seem to have the most vitriol towards it. Like not the kids, but like the celebrities in their 30s and who've been alive just long enough to have been radicalized by their college to tell them that everyone is a fascist but them.
Another thing I wanted to mention about this is that Dana White has come out and endorsed Sound of Freedom in a new video he posted on Twitter, and then included a clip of Mel Gibson endorsing the movie as well.
Let's watch this. Here, it's 47 seconds long. Here we go.
White. There's a new movie out called The Sound of Freedom, and it's about human trafficking. More importantly, the trafficking of children. This is a disgusting, horrific issue that's happening all around the world, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give any of my UFC employees that want to see this movie free tickets to go see. And I would like to encourage other executives to do the same at their company. Here's Mel Gibson with some more information on The Sound of Freedom.
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
Mel Gibson rules.
And Sound of Freedom is still performing really well in theaters.
Yep.
You're saying everyone who you know has seen it says the theater was packed.
Yeah, multiple people. I mean, it's
as much as they would like to say that it's just QAnon conspiracy theorist boomers who are seeing it.
Is also like is Jack White like just like maybe Dana White is actually like the really embarrassed father of Jack White, and he disowned him when he was a child.
Maybe.
And he's like, oh my God, my son is such a soylent. Like, I don't want anything to do with him.
Lay
so
off
I'm
the
gonna
Soylent Jack White.
Exactly. So Dana White.
What
Jack
do you think
White?
of this? I think this is like an example of truly putting your money where your mouth is. But a lot of the times when executives of big companies rally their support behind social causes, I find it obnoxious and performative.
Yeah. But this is like a non-mainstream cause now, so it's a little bit different. It's not the same as Amazon being like, look, we'll pay for you to go get an abortion in another state. We would we love women's rights. We will go pay for your abortion.
As long as you go get that abortion and get back in the wage cage immediately after.
Because we do not want we don't want to give you maternity leave, which is the part they don't say out loud.
Look at who benefits from those social causes.
Okay, I get a lot of Amazon ads on Instagram. There's
really?
This is such an aside, but it's these two that play back to back where they have these weird ads where it looks like it's an Amazon worker who's like it's like a day in the life video where they're like recording it with their phone, and one of them is like this young pretty girl who's like looks like she's in her mid-20s, and then the other one is just this unfortunate looking overweight, and I don't know why they made like they have them film it with their phone, but it's even framed differently, and it feels weird and exploitative that they made the commercial like that. It's supposed to be like, look, anyone of any size, like it felt weird to me.
Well, they always are like pointing the gun at the Amazon employee behind the camera, telling them to talk about how great it is to work at Amazon for.
Do you think Guy Fieri, like maybe Guy Fieri is like angling for a job to like take over catering for Trump Tower? But he's got all his shows. Like, I still love Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. There's more to be done with Guy Fieri. He's super MAGA. Maybe he's dark MAGA. Maybe that's what he is. Maybe he's dark MAGA.
The frosted tips, they're a classic sign of a fascist.
Right now, they disagree with you in the chat. Right now, 59% say that frosted tips in your hair is a sign of a neoliberal.
Well, before the show started, Brett was very confident that frosted tips are a fascistic symbol. So
I have no idea why, but goodness was I certain.
Just as much as that fashy haircut he's sporting right now. Also, there are some people absolutely seething at this Dana White post. One quote tweet said, well, if Dana White, such an upstanding, non-wife-beating, non-mafia connected citizen, is promoting the Sound of Freedom, I was obviously wrong, and it's based, and you should all go pay and see it. Can this world get any dumber? Another person said, I hope that this blows up in his face. Are the allegations substantiated about him being connected to the mafia or being an abuser?
There was video of him hitting his wife, but people in the chat can let me know. I think the video said that she hit him first and he reacted, which doesn't make it okay. But
odd.
He comes out, he's like equal rights and lefts.
Even if that's true, isn't the guy allowed to still care about
kids being trafficked?
I don't know how that discredits what he said. And if he's connected to the mafia, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a throwback. Are you kidding me? Does that mean Dana White's going to come into your corner store with a bat and go, sure would be a problem. Sure would be a shame if somebody came in here and destroyed your store, and then makes you pay protection money.
Another one said, so right after Mel Gibson, Trump, and Joe Rogan all get spotted hanging out, they tried to promote a propaganda movie in the name of child trafficking. Yeah, my ass, you fascist F, Dana White.
These
How
people are like whenever I see like between these
delusional and crazy.
between that story, the Jack White story, and what we're going to talk about at the end, I do wonder if like maybe it was wrong to close the asylums. I think that way pretty regularly. Dustin in the chat says the mafia is making a comeback. I'm here for it, man. Let's go. Like I love
Being
the Sopranos.
The mafia is cool.
I'm here for the Sopranos. I'm ready. So
is it astroturfed when people say that Sound of Freedom is #1 at the box office, or is this true? I mean, all the other ones are on the downturn right now. It says Dial of Destiny, Elemental,
Insidious,
Spider-Verse,
Insidious
Transformers.
Insidious is made a bunch of money this weekend. Insidious was #1.
Okay,
at the
I'm
box
getting the
office
numbers
this
for the
weekend.
July 4th weekend then.
Yeah, like it's from the weekend before that.
Yeah.
Insidious did really because people were still making fun of Dial of Destiny. Like you lost to Insidious 2. Holy Insidious. Comma 2, like not Insidious 2, but you know, like people were mad about our takes on. Like I was actually surprised by how many people, and to be fair, they're like to right to their own opinion, thought Dial of Destiny was fine, and it's just like, look, that's the beauty of movies, right? Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. I personally
sort of
didn't
like if
it.
you enjoy Attack on Titan, if you enjoyed Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, I just feel like I don't want to share a space with you. Like
Also, to be fair, like the thing about Insidious at the box office is like those low budget horror movies always end up being profitable because they cost like nothing to make. I think they said that costs like 30 million or less.
Still double what it cost to do Sound of Freedom, and I didn't know this.
It might have been less than
apparently
that.
Sound of Freedom had 0 marketing budget.
That's not true. There was marketing all. I still am seeing nothing.
Or just had
but
a
ads.
very low marketing budget, and then they said this is why they didn't have posters in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And when I went into the Sound of Freedom theater, the poster for it was like a super blurry, pixelated potato cam one. I was like, why is it not high res like the other ones? That must be the reason, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I went in, it had a normal ad for it.
That's weird. The poster when I went in was like super pixelated and blurry for some reason.
It was happening at other theaters too. People were sending me pictures.
Sabotage.
Yeah. No. I saw a couple of other things that said like other theaters had the same problem, not just Sound of Freedom.
Okay.
That other movies were having issues with their AC. It was like 90.
It's sketchy if the theater playing Sound of Freedom is the only one that doesn't have AC.
Yeah. They were saying that it was happening.
I
to
think
other
it
ones
was
as well.
Jack White. I'll blame him.
Dustin the Wind says Jim Caviezel, Pop Culture Crisis guest. I wish it would be. Here's the thing though, when he does these interviews, like he's very magnanimous and he's very professional and he's very likable. But I don't really think like me and Mary like dunking on Britney Spears is exactly the vibe for Jim Caviezel. Like, hey Jim, you want to laugh at Britney Spears with us?
We would keep it tasteful for.
It would be very difficult to be like, oh, look at this loser, look at this lady with the yeah on her Instagram live. Jim, isn't that funny? But then I could talk about him. I could talk to him about the movie Frequency and about Person of Interest. So that would have been cool. But so guys, if you have not yet seen Sound of Freedom, I do believe everyone should go and see it. It's still in a lot of theaters, and like I said, I had a friend who went last night. Said the whole theater was packed.
Yeah.
So
I recommend.
And if you get a chance to meet Donald Trump, do it just to piss off Jack White.
Make sure you take a picture.
Take a picture with him and post it. And I've also been working on my Donald Trump thumbs up for pictures when we get pictures with people.
Just, you know that if you're a man and you shake hands with Donald Trump, he's going to yank you.
And he pulls you in. Yeah.
I hope he doesn't do that to women. I'm too frail for that.
I would like, Tacty Platty says.
He would like dislocate my shoulder.
He'd buy you McDonald's to make up for it.
A big and tasty.
He would. He'd
for
buy
$1.
With Grimace. Tacty Platty says, get Kevin Sorbo on the show. That'd be great. He's from Minnesota like me. He was Hercules. So,
Okay.
All right. Let us go to Super Chats. We got a couple, right?
Holes in the Kid said, I'm about to bleach Bryant's head. Brett, can you show me how she did the blonde where it meets the beard?
I can't because my glasses were off during that portion.
Can you show us where it disconnects with the beard?
I guess. I feel like a good here.
It's a nice fade.
fades into it. But yeah, she I couldn't tell you how she did it because I
think
didn't have my
next
glasses
time we
on.
need to get you to bleach the beard.
No, the beard stays.
How many crisis parties to bleach the beard?
None. There are. I'm sick of being a guinea pig.
50 crisis parties and we bleach the beard.
I'm so sick
How about
of-
that?
Only if I get to cut it right away.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We just need one show with the bleached beard. Then we've got one from Mr. X. For real though, who the F is Jack White?
You should go listen to.
I mean, he's
Seven Nation Army.
pretty famous. Shane H. Wilder said, I'm stealth watching at work. You're welcome. Just wait for the Podcasters sequel. I'm going all out with the stupidity on that one. Good. I'm excited. Corey Anderson said, Mary, I don't know much, but I know Brittany isn't wearing a thong in that video. Thank God.
Yeah, that's just a bathing suit bottom.
Okay.
Let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Remember, yeah. Or wait, what was it?
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. So the Jonah Hill story is continuing on.
Keeps getting worse.
It keeps getting worse. Mary, tell us what's going on with Jonah Hill, Sarah Brady, and Alexa Nicholas, of all people, from Nickelodeon.
The Jonah Hill saga keeps getting worse. Now his ex, Sarah Brady, is just spamming her Instagram story with countless screenshots of their past conversations and continues making herself look even worse. She's making herself look like the toxic one. Siobhan had tweeted about this and she said...
Her tweet was hilarious.
Yeah, Jonah's ex is now spamming dozens of screenshots of old texts that blatantly make her look like the bad guy, basically proving her issue is that he moved on. Impressive turnaround time, and implying conservative men are abusive. LOL. Like, to claim that Jonah Hill of all people is conservative and that he purposefully like sought out to date liberal women just to abuse them is insane. Whatever people think of him, controlling, insecure, etc., none of that was bad enough to warrant this level of privacy breach or obsession. This is unhinged. So
it should make everyone a little bit worried, right? When it's like everything you send someone now, you do have to ask yourself, will this end up in the public eye?
Yeah, she's literally posted a screenshot of one of his sex to her. So
what was he doing?
It's getting out of hand. She has now revealed that 6 months after their breakup, they were still in contact, which is both of their faults. She said, he kept me on as a close emotional confidant after the breakup, sexting me on July 13th, 2022, visited me at my apartment in my hometown early August 2022, and then waited till a week after I moved to Hawaii for law school to send me a text being like, by the way, I'm in a new relationship. And I think we're getting to the root cause of why this has all come to light. She's bitter that he moved on and committed to someone else when she wanted she wanted to get married and have kids with him. And that's what I was speculating about yesterday. But someone else said, you know, maybe she was the one that was delaying that. I'm pretty sure it was the other way around.
No, she saw the
that
dollar signs.
He had all of these preconditions. And whether you think they're reasonable or not, he had preconditions for that type of commitment in a relationship. When you have
that much money and power, you are allowed to have... It's an unfair fact of life. When you have all the money, when you have all the power, you're allowed to have the preconditions.
It's also been revealed that he was sending her money and still financially supporting her for months after they were broken up, which is also his fault. That's on him. Mm-hmm. That's a stupid decision. So let's go through some of these screenshots. He texted her in August after this visit to her hometown happened saying, I know I don't need to, but in the spirit of pure respect to our friendship and appreciation for each other, I did want to be transparent that I did start dating someone recently who I presume is his now fiance who's just had his baby a month ago. I'm sorry if this is painful. It just happened and I didn't want to not be transparent with you ever as I care about you. She replied, thanks for letting me know. Probably best if we don't talk for a while and you figure out where that's headed.
She probably should. They should have just stopped right there.
Right. Exactly.
Like, well, it's over.
They should have stopped communicating after they broke up, which would make the most sense. But because they didn't, as so many people have done in the past,
very normal.
This has happened. Yep. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster if you're still in contact after breaking up. And then she texted him later on, not that it's really my business, but out of my own personal chicks before dicks code. If that's headed anywhere other than hookup or fling, I'd appreciate if you make that woman aware of how recently you've been flirting with me, sexting me, and leaning on me for partner level emotional support. He replied, I'm sorry, what? Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Somewhere, somehow, there's somebody watching a segmented version of this in the near future saying, what the hell is that sound effect?
And why are they saying yes, yes, yes?
And why are they saying yes, yes, yes? If you're watching this, ladies and gentlemen, in the future, I'm literally predicting the future right now. It is a crisis party, which comes in when you reach a certain amount of super chats right here, and it sets off the crisis meter. That's this thing down in the corner that I can't even point at.
Thank you for that explanation.
Yes.
He continued, I have been there for you as a friend, which I have made very clear. And not only is it not your business, as I only mentioned it to you out of respect and friendship, but I have not been flirting with you or sexting you in any way where it would be inappropriate at this time to start dating someone. And if anything, I have felt for your change and tried to be good and a supportive friend.
I actually want you to reread her part again. It's insane. Like, you need to reread her part again.
He reacted to it with a thumbs down emoji. And as for all these texts, these are conversations that should have been happening with them face to face, especially the ones that were happening while they were still together.
Yep.
So it's a mark of immaturity on both of them that they were arguing over text rather than face to face.
Reread her.
She said,
I can't stress enough how nuts this is.
Not that it's really my business, but out of my own personal chicks before dicks code, if that's headed anywhere other than a hookup or fling, I'd appreciate if you make that woman aware of how recently you've been flirting with me, sexting me, and leaning on me for partner level emotional support.
It's not your business. Like, I guess you could go and tell her, but that would make you nuts too. It's not your business. You're not with him anymore,
also,
dude.
Like, it's kind of weird timing because if you put it together, the woman he's with now, his fiance, who just had his kid, was probably pregnant very early on into their relationship. It seems like he was pretty desperate to start a family and put a ring on someone. It was just the right time.
And he's like,
he
any surfer will do.
He said, to be crystal clear, I have not flirted or sexted with you in any way, shape, or form in months, and went to say goodbye to you as a super kind gesture that you seem to have appreciated because it was kind. And when he texted her this, it was about a month and a half, I guess, since the sexting happened. Yep. And then he said, I'm sorry if it's upsetting that I would move on at all 6 months later, but I have handled you with the utmost love and respect. Don't ruin all the kindness. You're better than that. And then she responded with a screenshot of the sext that he sent her a month before. It says, no, just holding my hard beep.
I was
from
hoping you were
July
going to say
13th,
it, but, you know.
2022.
Wait, what date?
July 13th, 2022.
That's coming up. By the way, my 2-year anniversary of working here. So
it was a month and a half before he announced he was in a new relationship. And she said, whatever helps you get through the day, gotta focus on mine now. Adios.
So weird.
And he said, new side of you, Sarah. I care about you and will always be your friend, as I have been. Yes, we sexted 2 months ago. Screenshotting intimate texts between us is a huge triggering violation for me. The amount of therapy speak here is going to make your eyeballs roll into the back of your head. And a breach of trust as a friend, as I have explained to you about breaches of trust I've had between trusted friends recently that have caused me trauma. I am incredibly hurt and feel a lack of safety where I have always trusted you. I'm sorry if a former partner moving on is painful, and I empathize with that, but I have done nothing wrong, and if I wasn't a public person, I wouldn't face this kind of violation, and having shared that with you, and then watching you be like this today shatters my ability to trust anybody even further. I have always shown you kindness and support. I have nothing to hide in my life, but I am still entitled to safety and privacy just like you or anyone else is. I thought you'd understand and honor that. This has really shattered my sense of faith in that you were a human I could trust. I thought we could always be friends. I've done nothing wrong, and I'm sorry if you're bummed, but this line of texting today has really deeply let me down and broken my trust as a friend. Then she said, I'm just showing your own text to me. Can you put yourself in my shoes for a sec? How I might feel gaslit by your behavior and communication? They're both using the therapy speak at this point. He said, so to say you feel gaslit when I was being nice is absurd. You are hurt that I kissed someone and am beginning to date. Fair. You have not been gaslit. You have been treated, in fact, incredibly, both emotionally and financially. So there literally is no winning for me.
Told you he was paying for everything.
Even after their breakup, that's just undignified, dude.
It's just blackmail at that point.
I don't know to what extent he was financially supporting this woman, but I mean, if you're doing that at all, especially like a joint bank account and you're not even engaged or married, that's insane. And I believe that financial support is the reason why she at first complied with his requests, like delete this picture, you know, abide by my rules, because she wanted the bag and she's superficial and can't admit to that. So now she's spinning this victim narrative. He said, as someone who claims to care about me, I would think you would have seen my effort and not go and immediately victimize yourself. It sucks to see that. I wish you didn't have to. It sucks that they said your name. The media is trash. They have all but ruined my life. But to say I haven't been awesome to you is absurd. I didn't expect this from you. Call me if you need to talk today. I can't keep holding on to this absurdity. I have given you 6 months of love, care, and compassion post-breakup. That's kind of bunk. I mean, you were sexting and you were still emotionally attached the whole time.
They should have just cut it off
Just
at the end of the relationship, which is to be fair, is always harder.
Put all that
easier
therapy
said
to
than done.
good work.
Yeah.
Get your money's worth out of all that therapy and make some boundaries.
It's the sunken cost fallacy.
This guy talks a lot about boundaries for someone who's still sexting and financially supporting his ex.
It doesn't
6
say
months post breakup.
It doesn't say who started the sexting. Did she send the first sext and did he respond?
I mean, at least he knows what his money accomplishes. He knows that he can get a woman to abide by his rules, however reasonable or unreasonable they may be, by dangling the money bags in front of her. He said, even you want to abuse my fame to victimize yourself when you've been cared for and loved. We haven't had sex. I've taken care of you financially and been an incredible friend. No friend is taking care of their friend financially and texting them about their hard ding dong. That's not a friendly thing. I don't really do that with my friends personally.
Shocking that you don't.
Maybe you guys need to learn a little bit about boundaries.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, you don't know what she said. You don't know if she initiated it or not. But they're both stupid for continuing this on.
They're both toxic. They both sound like incredibly insufferable people to be around. And I think to do some damage control, don't subject yourselves on anyone else. Stay together. You deserve each other.
Yeah, so, just get married and have another kid.
She responded. Did you have
another
point? She responded, you have been kind and supportive and also in need of my support, and that's been confusing to me as to where we stand. This is why I use the word gaslight. I'm not saying it's intentional. Intentional is in the definition of what gaslighting is, guys. I'm feeling really effing shocked and confused right now, wondering how soon before you met me you were still talking to Gianna. Gianna is the name of some other woman, not his current fiance. 5 months ago, we were in escrow here. You wanted to put a ring on my finger, put a baby in me ASAP, and we've kept in pretty close, intimate communication since then. Sad to hear you feel used by me. I feel used by you too. I feel like an idiot for believing that the future we were planning was real and for adjusting my life in ways that accommodated your insecurities and jealousy and codependent, anxious avoidant attachment style, and which left me in a less financially independent and less mentally well position. If you wanted to be financially independent, you would not have accepted the offer for his money. Simple as. And if you didn't want to be in intimate communication with someone post breakup, that's on you. You engaged with it. You're both in the wrong, clearly. And I don't think that this woman is... Like, I don't think she was an abuser, but I think now she's turning into the villain in this story after they've not been together for like a year.
She was always the villain.
She said, I feel in other emotional ways I can get into on the phone. You've been leaning on me for support with your own personal stuff that has nothing to do with me as of very recently. Stuff that doesn't really make sense to share with an ex. You're trying to detach from so you can be ready to meet someone new. And so that you give that ex the respect of a little time and clarity before you move on. I'm not trying to victimize myself. I'm just a person with feelings. I've always felt like I had to be the emotional rock in our relationship. And now that we're not together, I get to be a full human with a full spectrum of emotion again. It's liberating. I think you're doing a lot of projecting with these texts right now. Got to go. And then she texted again, how do you think I feel over here thinking there was still hope for us, saving room in my heart for you, not able to make room for anyone else, being a solid emotional support to you for the past 5 months. Just don't engage with it. Don't be this man's therapist. Whether you're in a relationship or not, that shouldn't be your position. And you shouldn't be financially dependent on someone who has no commitment to you. That was on you. That was your mistake. But a lot of women, I understand, are not taught better about this stuff by their parents or by society. So, you know, poor you.
But it's not just that. Also now we've got Alexa Nicholas coming out, and she's got to get her opinion in, because if you don't know, Alexa Nicholas, she was protesting outside of Nickelodeon, and now she is saying that she was
doing the slime time protest outside of the Nickelodeon headquarters because she made a bunch of allegations against Dan Schneider, which I would bet are true because it's been corroborated so many times by other former child stars. Yep. But anyway, Alexa Nicholas from Zoe 101 has now come out with her own allegations against Jonah Hill because his name is a trending topic right now. It's convenient how you never wanted to talk about this before. So she claimed that Jonah Hill was 24 at the time that they met at a house party. She was 16. And this was a house party Justin Long hosted with his then roommate. She alleged that Justin Long's roommate assaulted her friend who was also 16 or 17 years old at the party. And she said, Jonah Hill came over at some point and we were all pretty wasted because, of course, the predators were feeding us minors a bunch of alcohol.
Why are people like having these parties with it's just
because they're dumb and it was 2008 and we didn't have Me Too yet. And then she said, Jonah Hill seemed to have his eyes on me because at one point I wanted a cigarette and he said he had one in his car right outside.
His white panel van right outside.
Didn't seem like too much of an effort, so I trusted him. I went outside and he grabbed the cigarettes from his front seat. Once again, I understand that a lot of young women are not taught these things growing up, but you don't go out to the guy's car. One time I was at a gas station and the employee told me I needed a mask to go in. And I obviously was not complying with that. And randomly, this sleazy guy in the corner says, oh, I have a mask. It's in my car. Come with me. Come to my car.
I forgot about that.
And I was
crazy.
Like, no. And he's like, why not? It's right there. It's right outside. And I was like, because you're a weird guy asking me to come to your car. And then the employees were just like, okay, we're not getting involved. And I didn't put on my mask. But you shouldn't have gone out to the car in the first place. That's besides the point. Then she said, Jonah Hill didn't hand me the cigarette, which I thought was weird. And then as we walked back to the door, I asked him for it. And he said nothing, but slammed me to the door and shoved his tongue down my throat. I was so appalled, I pushed him off of me and ran inside. I was 16 and Jonah Hill was 24. Not okay. Then she said...
Did he know how old she was?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have smartphones back then. We could just Google someone's age. But
also, it's weird if
you shouldn't. I don't think
if
that
you
it
have
was
to
a good
Google,
idea.
it's probably just a better idea to not do it.
It's obviously not a good idea to be at a party where you have minors and adults all drinking alcohol, and you know, it's all weird. It's all weird. But it was a different time, and I doubt that Jonah Hill did know her age. And she said, just to note, Jonah Hill said if I wanted the cig, I had to come with him outside to get it. He didn't want to go all alone. They were all aware I was 16. She claims they were all aware of her age. And she said this type of predatory behavior was hyper-normalized when I was a kid. I'm proud to see women standing up to abusive men now. Badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cringe.
What the girl that was not Alexa Nicholas, but what the other girl was saying was not badass. She's just an annoying, weird woman.
Yeah, like Alexa Nicholas and other former Nickelodeon stars coming out with allegations against Dan Schneider, who was an adult and they were children. All of that, I'm all ears. And I totally believe that there's credibility to those allegations. But when you're lumping them in with Jonah Hill's ex is bitter that he moved on and committed to some other woman, you're discrediting all of it. So no one's going to believe all victims anymore. This is why you shouldn't. And she's discrediting even herself in doing this. And it's awfully convenient that you wait until someone's name is trending to come out with allegations against him. I mean, he could have been a predator against a bunch of other teenagers before you came out and said this, who you were, in a sense, complicit with getting victimized. Like, it's just so hypocritical. And now I also wanted to mention some comments from other unrelated celebrities who felt like jumping on the dog pile. Bethany Frankel talked about meeting Jonah Hill on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno years ago. She said that he acted like a low-grade dick to her. He was put upon and kind of treated me like he was better than me. I felt like a loser and the nobody that I was.
I mean, he sounds like he's always been socially awkward, so maybe it was just
he was probably just standoffish because he's socially awkward.
I'm standoffish. I am standoffish in a lot of the time. That does not mean that I think I'm better than anyone. Quite the opposite.
Yeah. And then another comment from Meghan McCain came out.
Of all people, that wasn't anywhere on my bingo card.
She's defending Jonah Hill. She said, "Is it really so wrong for a man to ask his girlfriend to respect his boundaries? We women do the same all the time. I don't condemn men for telling their partners what they want. Women generally encourage the men in their lives to communicate and avoid harboring bitter feelings." And she said that Sarah Brady is acting like a martyr and threatening Jonah Hill, and her actions are manipulative and unfair. And especially now that these details have come out about her like calculating the timing of it for right after his child is born, and just being so calculated with all this forethought and premeditation, it does make you seem like the villain. And now Sarah Brady has turned into her own worst enemy here. Yep. She's still spamming all of these screenshots hoping to get more confirmation bias, and it's all making her look worse. Yeah. And it's showing how much poor judgment they both showed in the situation.
Yep. It's I mean, these topics are always like I always lean away from these topics because at the end of the day, like I don't know what their conversations were like in person or what they were like as people, so I can't really know.
I mean, they both seem annoying as all hell.
I do know that they do both sound annoying. So
I also wanted to read this tweet that said, "Say what you will about Trump, but if he had a surfer girlfriend who posted bikini pics, he would repost them himself and brag about her, and his only boundary would be, if you go surfing, shower after. We don't want any sand in the penthouse. Okay, frankly, it's disgusting."
In his voice,
quite
too.
frankly,
quite frankly,
the sand in the bed sheets, it's disgusting.
It's a no-go. Yeah, it's a weird story that this is going to go on, but these I have a feeling this is going to go on for a while now because she doesn't seem like a lady who's going to give up easily. The Sarah lady.
No.
So, all right. Let's go to Super Chat, shall we? I believe the next one is from Tom Bombadurp. Right?
Yes. He said, "Saw Britney update on the alleged slap. Seems she hit herself in the face when the security guy brushed away her hand. Hashtag believe all women batting 1,000.
So is it the type
is
of
this
thing,
true?
Also, Tom, I saw you say that you're disliking this video. That's not very nice. Is this the type of thing where they brush her away and then it's like, quit hitting yourself, quit hitting yourself, quit hitting yourself?
The video came out. Did you see the video?
I didn't see the video.
I haven't seen the video either.
But yeah, like maybe that's why she's dancing. She's dancing away the pain of punching herself in the face after trying to get Victor Wembanyama's a photo with him, right?
She's reclaiming her power.
That's what it is.
That Stanzatastic said, "Can you add a scream from Attack on Titan or some sort or something similar for new Crisis Party sounds, please? And thank you."
Can you do that?
Can we add a soundbite of the girl going yes, yes, yes? Can we have that as a Crisis Party sound?
We could possibly do that. I'd have to. Okay, so is the video here? I'm looking to see if they've linked the video in this one. I'm trying to watch it.
Well, the story came out without the video at first, so I didn't know what to think.
It's not letting me look at it. It's not loading, but I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Yeah.
We've got one from Dane Font. He said, "Brett looks like they, them Guile from Street Fighter."
Hey! That's not nice!
Damn.
I think somebody said that yesterday. That was very mean.
That's not nice. And not true. He looks like Ken. Dane Font said, "Mary is right. Attack on Titan is dog shit." Yeah, I'm getting corroboration from a male, by the way.
Yeah, it's
not just women that hate Attack on Titan.
It's not a gendered issue.
Holly Movie Star said, "Have you seen the movie trailer that dropped yesterday for Napoleon starring Joaquin Phoenix? Looks epic. Hashtag French Revolution."
I saw that. It's not mine. It's not for me, but I have seen it. So yeah. All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back, shall we? Let's talk. Tell us about
So Jane Addams, an actress from The Idol, has recently done an interview with Vanity Fair where she responded finally to all of the feminists criticizing The Idol for supposedly having an exploitative set behind the scenes, tension behind the scenes, and they've also accused the show of being essentially like fetishizing torture porn. And I think that she is coming from the perspective of one of these old school boomer feminists who doesn't really get where the zeitgeist of feminism is at right now. She's essentially saying that this is a call for censorship. And it's kind of weird to hear comments like this from someone who is so like credible in Hollywood. She sounds like Ricky Gervais if he were a boomer feminist who wears crazy glasses. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
here's her quote. I especially want to say to all the feminists, go F yourself. All these women that I'm working with are talking about their experience and you're not listening. You're not listening. And there was a lot of other stuff that she said in this interview that I wanted to cover. She said, what's amazing to me is no one's listening. I have not seen that before in all my days. Such a dogged, we refuse to change the narrative. And it's like, have you been paying any attention to where Hollywood feminism has been going?
For much longer
for decades?
For at least 2 decades now.
Like, you're an industry veteran. You should know why this response is coming.
It's
like
likely just the first time that it's gone against anything she believes.
Yeah, and one of the responses to this on Twitter posted a scene from the show where Lily Rose Depp was like playing this hyper-sexualized character. And they said, Jane Addams can actually say with a straight face that every episode of The Idol didn't exploit the young 23-year-old Lily Rose Depp playing Jocelyn. Get real.
Exploiting the 23-year-old adult.
Just that statement alone makes it sound like satire, but there are people who, for some reason, think that you're not capable of making your own decisions at 23 years old.
I mean, we're like a lot of, but no, it's just women. It's just women are so dumb and stupid that you are no longer able to actually. There are people that make the argument that, like, look, your frontal lobe doesn't finish developing until you're 26. So women are not responsible for their actions until the age of 26. And even then, if a man was involved at all, then it's probably his fault.
So just picture Jane Addams sipping her matcha latte while saying all of this, by the way. In reference to her movie Happiness, she said, you couldn't make that movie today. There were lines around the block in New York when it was still in theaters and the whole town talked about it, but that was when the liberal press celebrated things that upset people. Over the last few years, it's been a weird experience that makes me a little sad. People in that world, some of them, have turned into the scolding school marms that I wanted to be an actress to get away from.
It's kind of like Johnny Rotten came out recently and said the same thing. He basically said, I never thought I'd see the day where the Republicans were the side that was pushing back against the establishment and the left would be the whiny babies that were looking to scold anyone and everything. Something to that extent.
Yeah, but it's weird because there was nothing that overtly offensive about The Idol other than the fact that it was so excessively vulgar and I would say at the expense of telling an actual story. It was going for the shock factor, which Sam Levinson, the director, is known for relying on. And I would say that Euphoria did the same thing, but at the very least, people didn't universally trash Euphoria.
I mean, all the comments that I've seen of people that don't like The Idol, it's not about the vulgarity. They just think it's horribly acted. And
well, they think, it's cringy, and they think that the sex stuff was overplayed and not believable. And like the big plot twist at the end of the show was, ooh, actually, Jocelyn was in control the entire time and she was actually manipulating Tedros, and it's this big reveal at the end, but it's like
shocking.
Okay.
It's very, very shocking. Yeah.
It just seems poorly written to me.
I think part of this is also that like people her age, if she's not on the internet and she doesn't actually follow the culture as closely as someone our age, wouldn't understand that just how far the pendulum is swung the other direction, how different things are than they were 20 years ago. She is right, though, about the part that the liberal establishment media used to celebrate things that upset people because what they were doing was upsetting an establishment neo conservative culture at the time.
I would just say there's nothing actually authentically subversive about The Idol or the message behind it, which is why it had the full support of HBO Max behind it and their darling director. Like, there was nothing actually offensive about it except for its obscenity. That was there just for the shock value.
Which is now about as close to the most acceptable thing.
That's not a free speech issue.
No. It's also the most acceptable form of any type of supposedly subversive behavior there is in Hollywood is anything sexual. It's certainly nothing to do with identity or culture, because those you have to tiptoe around for the fear of insulting or angering people on Twitter.
Yeah. Like, I wish.
Or Threads now.
Yeah. I wish that Hollywood still clung to some of its obscenity laws and restrictions, because that's not a free speech issue. Obscenity doesn't fall under free speech, and that's constitutional. She said, free speech is the license to offend, period, full stop. The funniest stuff to me is going to offend a group of people no matter what you do.
Yeah, but what she's not saying
is... Be more specific.
There's a lot of people she wouldn't dare offend if she knows anything about what she's doing in Hollywood in 2023. And there's no way that her publicists, her PR people, her agent have not said, you can't say that. You're going to anger the wrong people. It's going to get you in trouble. She knows that. I don't buy that she doesn't know that.
She does have to self-censor. She recalled one scene where she, in character, and she's playing this like soulless record label executive, improvised an inflammatory line of dialogue. And I would love to know what that inflammatory line was. She said, I remember a certain production assistant just looking not happy, and I needed to get a cue from them. We're working, and I'm going to notice if somebody seems like something's wrong. So I said, are you all right? Adam said the assistant kind of stuttered, well, I find that language upsetting. We're not going to be able to find funny stuff unless we can say whatever. People are self-censoring. I can only speak from what I've observed and then speak for myself. I definitely am upset that I have to self-censor. But it's like, be more specific. What was that line of dialogue that like upset a production assistant?
I would love, it was a production assistant. The culture is so freaking soft. It's unbelievable. Like, imagine having
She should like throw hot coffee on the production assistant if this were like real Hollywood.
That would have been funny.
And she reacted to like a low critic score that was given to The Idol. She said, that's another laugh. It's like, okay, whatever, guys. People don't have to love it. I just find it oppressive. The kind of, well, you shouldn't like it because ... But like, go into the reasons why people didn't like it. If you actually dove deep into the criticism of the show, it would be on the content of the storytelling, and it was poorly done. A lot of reviewers said that. And then she said, I love the show. These days, to certain people, you almost have to apologize when you dislike something or you love something. I don't really care anymore. I agree with that.
That is true. Like, you're not allowed to like certain things, and you're not allowed to dislike certain things these days based on the culture we live in today. Everybody's very, very fascistic when it comes to what you're allowed to like or dislike. Attack on Titan, Mary, you're only allowed to like it. You're not allowed to dislike it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But she just comes off as very out of touch to me, thinking that sexuality or nudity are offensive or, you know, out of the box or not acceptable in today's society, when it's almost like you're mandated to put these things in TV shows and movies now rather than keep it out because it's a distraction.
I mean, I think part of it is just she's old and she doesn't.
There was nothing about the messaging or the meaning of this story that was subversive.
No. And she's old. She doesn't understand where the culture is going. She absolutely does not understand what feminism, how rabid feminism has gotten and how anti-human a lot of feminism is now.
People just didn't want to see Lily Rose Depp crack an egg in her hoo-ha. Like, sorry, that's not really politically, she's like, it's politically incorrect to put eggs in your hoo-ha now. Isn't the culture crazy? I mean, she would definitely be one of the people that latches on to that term Puritans, referring to Gen Z's apparent distaste for this excessive sexuality and like pornified hypersexuality in media today.
Gen Z has a problem with everything now. Gen Z is offended by everything.
I understand that. But if one of the things that they criticize in media today is the fact that it's hypersexualized, I'll definitely agree with that criticism.
It's because it's the only one Hollywood's allowed to do, because it's not simply based on identity, which means that they can offend the larger scale group of people rather than offending one group, which is always scarier to them now. Because then the political action committees and the activist organizations come at you. Nobody cares. Nobody in Hollywood cares if some Parents for Decency group comes after them. They'll tell them to piss off. There's a $20 super chat there from Francisco Sanchez Jr.
He said, never forget Brooke Shields' mom gave permission to let her daughter take nude photos for Playboy at 10 years old. Children are so often the object of adults' projection. # protect kids.
Well, also, didn't Jeanette McCurdy's mom shower with her until she was 18? I was reading about
and a lot
earlier.
of other weird stuff.
That's freaking weird. These people are weird. I do think it's interesting here. The other thing is like, I do wish the media in Hollywood would get back to a position where they would be okay with offending more than just the religious right who would prefer that things be a little bit more tame on the sexualized humor. Fine, you want to insult them, then you should be able to insult other people too based on other things other than just sexuality. It's not the only thing that you can effectively use as offensive humor or effectively use as offensive entertainment for the sake of making a product that the general populace would like.
Well, these are the people that pretend to have their fingers on the pulse of the culture, but are showing very clearly that they don't understand why Gen Z might be put off by things like this. And they're calling them Puritans, which is such an intellectually lazy way to write off their concerns by conflating Gen Z with the religious right when you're not making products that appeal to Gen Z.
Also, that production assistant could very well have been a millennial.
Probably.
I don't know. I don't know.
Most likely it was. And Gen Z doesn't object to this hypersexuality in media on the same grounds that the religious right might have in the 90s or the 2000s. It's because they've grown up, like this is the culture that they've grown up in, that everything is pornified and everything has to be hypersexualized, and they're tired of it.
I mean, I just think they're lonely.
And they're lonely, and they're not Puritans because they're hooking up less. They're hooking up less because they're socially uprooted. And
they live on their phones, and the guys are afraid of getting Me Too'd.
The culture is so sexually broken that their experience of sexuality or identity or gender is all something that they've experienced alone in their bedrooms.
It's the phone's fault.
I mean, at least in part. I don't want to sound like a boomer for saying that, but that's definitely part of the problem.
Yep.
And their distaste for this like hypersexualized, pornified culture of ours is not the same one that, Christian Moms for Change had in the 90s. It's not the same thing because they've never experienced a sane culture that had any level of decency or standards when it comes to obscenity.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
CJ McLean said, Mary, I was a little confused about your Attack on Titan comment. Are you saying you didn't like it? And if so, why?
Yes, Mary.
Was it really that ambiguous? Was my review that hard to understand?
It must have been.
I guess I wasn't clear enough how I felt about it. Yeah, I didn't like it, and why didn't I like it? I wanted to respond to this because some people were like saying, you were expecting comedy when it's supposed to be this more like dramatic, serious, political commentary, and like. I wasn't expecting it to be comedic, but its attempts at jokes, which were in there, were also unfunny. And the political message was very on the nose and like seemed lazy to me. And mostly, I think the animation was lazy. I think the voice acting was grating and made my ears bleed. And I'm not into the entire genre of anime. It's not my thing. So I wasn't expecting to like it. I didn't go into it like with my heart set on disliking it, but I ended up hating it. Gordon Shumway said, I think Jonah Hill's ex saw Mariah Mills' meltdown on Twitter over Zion Williams and said, hold my beer, I hope she gets help or at least a hobby. What was this?
Wait, okay, so I forgot you were gone during this. So what happened was he's a pro basketball player, and Mariah Mills, who's a porn star, basically said either trade this guy or I'm going to release. Like, she basically threatened him and threatened to release the porn she had of he and her. And basically,
he threatened.
No, she threatened. She threatened him. And because he's got a baby now. It's almost the same thing. He's got like a baby now, and she's like, I'm gonna release the porn of us. And it was actually the definition of revenge porn, because she's threatening to release it. And I think Twitter suspended her when she was doing this, but she was going off something fierce when this was going on. It was crazy.
What else could be the natural conclusion to feminism? There's women, they're empty nester women in their 20s who have been lied to their entire lives about what their priorities ought to be. They even lie to themselves about it. Yep. And when they don't get what they want out of relationships with men and feel used because they were used for their sexuality, they feel empty inside and they lash out. It's just the way it is. This was the logical conclusion of this insanity from the very beginning. Yep,
that was her account did in fact get suspended. So not the most wholesome story you've ever heard.
I need to stop watching YouTube said, I am back in the settle and ready to troll poop culture.
Okay then.
Okay.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. We got one more thing to talk about here. Let's talk about... Okay, so guys, we had... They had a Friends, the television show Friends, alumni dinner, and a man on Twitter named J Affirmative Action Hack Perkins has decided to weigh in on this and says, serious question. For all well-meaning white people, when you show up at a get-together like this, do you notice there are 0 black people or nah? If so, do you say or do anything about it? To who? Please be honest. This is a safe space. Unless you say something dumb or racist.
Smiley emoji.
This guy is patently insane.
He's smacking the baseball bat. Yeah. For sure. And I mean, I'm sure no one in this photo gave a second thought to the racial diversity or lack thereof.
Because nobody in their right mind looks at the world that way.
Because people with social lives who don't spend all their time race baiting and getting angry on Twitter don't think about these things. Because they're not racists like J Affirmative Action Hack here. He followed up saying, for those following along, note how the majority of white people replying struggle to simply answer these basic questions. One mentioned forced integration. Many demanded, what if this was a family reunion? Others accused me of baiting and insisting blacks self-segregate.
I'm going to let you in on a secret. There is no right answer. There is no right answer that you can give him that answers the question.
I'll tell you what the right answer was, because he got it in his DMs. He said, someone sent this along in DMs and gave me permission to share. For white people looking to become more effective in their moral and practical duty to dismantle racism, this is a really good answer. Here's what this anonymous DM said. Since I never post publicly, I'll respond privately. I personally call it out whenever I'm at a function with no black folks. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm white, however, almost if not all other white folks I know do not do this. I do comfortably now. I don't know if I always did or if not when I changed, but I know I have for years now. It just signals to me that something is wrong and unsafe there. If there are no black folks at the function, I can't help but wonder why. And the why, regardless of how reasonable it may sound, is always unnerving. It's not a kind or natural way to live. You must go out of your way often to not make black friends. If you've avoided making them or made them and don't value them enough to be invited, it's scary because it says a whole hell of a lot about your broader values.
These people are mentally ill.
This guy... Whoever this was, this white guy in the DMs is just the most desperate to get invited to the cookout you've ever seen.
He's like, I've got my copy of White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. Please invite me to the cookout.
He's like, I'm so sorry for party rocking. I'm so sorry for slavery. Please invite me to the cookout.
It's also just not a normal...
I promise I have token black friends. Please believe me that I'm not racist.
No normal person who's sane, who actually has any type of acquaintance, friendship, business partnership with anyone that looks different than them thinks about it this way. It's not normal. It's not healthy. It's not, as you would say, safe. You're actually white guilting yourself into an early grave because you're thinking about something that doesn't matter. It also makes no sense to say not naturally. Demographics and location exist for a reason. So if you grow up in an area that's 60 to 70% black, most of the people at your gatherings are probably going to look like you or look like the people in that area. If you grow up in an area that is majority white, all that speaks about is how far you've traveled to meet people. And if you're going out of your way to do it simply because you think it's the right thing to do, you're not humaning very well.
Right.
You're not actually living like a full-grown adult with a working brain.
How internet addled and actually racist would you have to be to go to your white friends as a white person and be like, why didn't you invite any black people to this party? I feel unsafe right now. And I would immediately kick you out.
And if you're wondering why we're covering this, because this was a Friends reunion, alumni reunion. You saw in the photo, Friends the show. You can see Jennifer Aniston right there. You can see Courtney Cox.
Friends, as you know, is a white supremacist show.
Well, yeah, as a show that's been heavily criticized for being white. But the creators of Friends actually give money to African-American studies programs at their alma mater. So they've atoned for their sin.
Someone made this joke that this dinner party looks like if you got together all the tenured professors, directors, and leadership at the Afro-Latin Institute at Harvard University. But like, how dare white people be interested in other cultures and try to educate themselves about it?
You can't win. Adam B. Coleman says there are also 0 Eskimos in this picture. What the hell?
And I wanted to bring up this article I found from 2019 that is titled, "Why Friends is the Wrong Show to Celebrate in the Trump Era." Friends, that show based on a white person's idea of New York City about 6 white 20-something friends who were each just the right amount of neurotic and pretty, is turning 25 this month. And they said, the president is a white supremacist and white nationalist domestic terrorism is at an all-time high in America. But sure, let's totally celebrate one of the whitest shows in the history of white America.
If these people don't think that this ends in any way other than people just ending up like white people will end up, they'll be getting rid of white people. Like, you cannot have this level of vitriol towards a group of people and not expect it to end any way but badly. It's scary. I liked Shoe on Head's response. She said,
"What'd she say?
Family and Friends aren't a video game or a TV show that requires a diversity quota. It's the implication here that the people should go out and handpick some token black friends. LOL. These people are insane. And this person, this is your brain on critical race theory."
Well, in the photo, they're clearly at a spirit cooking function.
Yes.
So, where are the Podestas at? But anyway, I saw a response from Steve Saylor that said, when you show up at a get-together like this, personally, I'm constantly being invited to get-togethers like this with my fellow best-looking and funniest middle-aged people in America. But the reason I'm never photographed with Friends alumni is because I'm against racism.
Here, this person says this is a HuffPost editorial board photo. It's less diverse too. It's all women.
Well, if they're all women, it's diverse, right?
Yes, naturally, of course.
Women are a minority.
Yes, that's what that means.
But yeah, this was just like a level of mental illness that you see on Twitter every day.
You really can't.
It just washes over me at this point. It's like water off a duck's back.
You can't win with topics like this too, because he's in the comments to most of the people and he responds to almost all of them. Like he gives a genuine response. I'm actually kind of like, at first I thought this dude was just clout chasing. So this person says, I'm in a predominantly white area, so this would be normal for me. He says, does that mean you wouldn't notice, or are you purposely avoiding answering?
It's so weird.
Somebody says Olivia Munn is at the table. She's Asian. You didn't notice? She is? Apparently. I didn't.
Okay. Also, I saw Adam Scott in the background.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just saw Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox.
Also, Lauren Chen comes in here. Lauren Chen says, so true, King. Personally, as a non-racist, I have a black friend on speed dial who I call anytime my friends and family group are looking a little too Caucasian. Just you can't win with this type of discussion or this type of rhetoric. It's designed.
By the way, this guy's Twitter bio says, one half white black man. So that's telling already. Anti-racist higher ed lawyer, Philly dog and plant dad, Tweets are my own, never legal advice. He, him.
Yeah.
This is the worst type of person.
I can't.
His pinned tweet is, I don't see race is anti-black. Copy and pasted 10 times.
Yeah. You can't win with this type of thing, and it's actually kind of scary. And it is indicative of a time that we'll never have again, right? Like there will never be a show like Friends again. And what it is what Hollywood has done is they've championed Twitter, right? They've championed old school Twitter, meaning that they've now turned their television shows into what Twitter actually thinks the world should look like. And then the people on Twitter then get upset when the real world doesn't reflect Twitter or the television and movie shows that television shows and the movies that they watch. Mm-hmm. And it just shows you a level of disconnection with reality that people aren't living in the real world. They're living predominantly in a digital world and getting mad when the real world doesn't live up to what they expect it to be. But the world is not that clean or that simple. That's not the way it works.
I mean, the truth is, Friends would never get made again, at least not with an all-white cast. And it's because of how tragically aware we are of this outrage marketing, you know?
It's just weird, and I can't believe that there's a lot
Not that I think Friends was, like, a good influence on the culture. Like, that's a show that promoted promiscuity and, you know, finding a chosen family, being an urbanite, living purely for yourself and like individualism overall, and like those aren't my values, but to criticize it just on the basis that all the characters were white is so weird, especially when in the 90s I believe 95% of the population in this country had ancestry from the founding stock.
But New York City already was not like that, so the criticism there is fairly valid. Like the show takes place in New York City.
They were also living in expensive penthouse apartments that could never be afforded by middle class people. It's a show. It's not supposed to be reflective of reality.
One of my favorite things is watching any television show that shows the most unrealistic New York City apartment for whatever tax bracket that person is in. They've all got these high vaulted ceilings, and you're like, they don't have that in New York City and downtown. Sorry, that's not a thing.
And now, what kind of serialized sitcoms do we have? We have Sex Lives of College Girls, Mindy Kaling's sitcom, and people have criticized that show because the female cast is racially diverse, but all the men that they date are white. So that's a problem. But really, that's just a symptom of Mindy Kaling's tendency to self-insert. She has a raging hard-on for white men and also hates white men. It's telling. Anger and horniness, it's kind of blended together as one emotion for these women.
Where do you go from there? These women need to get married quick before they ruin entertainment even more.
Yeah.
Get this lady a husband, would you?
Hopefully the actors' strike and the writers' strike might be the salve we've been waiting for.
We can only hope, right? It's but then, like I really can't stress enough how bonkers that type of mindset is for something like this. And I'm glad to say that a lot of the people in the comments were serving this dude and saying like, look, you're being ridiculous, because it is ridiculous. To anybody with half a brain that understands how the real world works, understands that this is a very unwell way of looking at the world.
This article also said that watching Friends allows you to pretend that one of the country's most diverse cities is actually all white, and also get a photo op with a fictional coffee shop with a couch that was only ever available for said 6 friends to sit. Thumbs up. Like,
this is your brain on college.
This is your brain on Twitter, on social justice, on, like being overeducated and over-socialized.
Well, you know what it is we've been forced to, like, we have it so good here. Like, everything has to be deconstructed now. So they have to take things that you used to be able to...
Get something real to complain about.
You used to just be able to enjoy things for what they were. Now you're not allowed to do that because we've got too much time on our hands. So we have to deconstruct everything and take it apart for the sake of figuring out what it really means, even though what you're coming up is just bullshit. That's not actually what it means. It's what your stupid brain has rationalized it means based on your own life experience and worldview, which isn't truth at all. It's just bullshit. Mm-hmm. So these people can kick rocks, and they should go live in reality and get off Twitter.
Also, Jay Affirmative Action Hack admitted that he race baits. He said, to the extent that race baiting means I often tweet out seemingly innocuous questions that attract responses from virulent racists, then yes, that's how I use Twitter. And you people, racists, are so quick to self-identify, but rarely actually realize that that's what you've done. SMH. Actually, Jay, you are self-identifying as the affirmative action hack that you are and the racist that you are. So, hope you're happy.
This was the other part I was talking about where he says, Zeke on Twitter says, question for you. What are you supposed to say? Like he said, what is the right answer to your question that you posed? He says,
if it's not properly self-flagellating, then it's not the right answer.
Yeah, there is no right answer here. You're only supposed to just defer, bow down, and thank the diversity gods.
When you go to a function and there are no black people at it, what do you do? Do you say anything, Brett?
No, I don't. That's weird. No.
And then, do you care? Okay, here's my answer. When I go to a function and there are no black people and it's mostly white people, yes, I notice, and no, I don't care. And I'm never going to be the weird turbo autist that outs myself as being terminally online by asking why it's not more racially diverse like my TV shows.
Yeah.
So weird. Okay,
all
let's
right.
finish up with the super chats.
Let's go to super chat. We got a couple left there.
Disco Jensen said, Degens want to use the first to degen while censoring wrongthink. None of this would be a problem if we didn't let the anti-propaganda law lapse in 2012.
Yeah, thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama. Man, it's been a long time since I've heard that one.
I'm just saying obscenity laws are not constitutional. They're very much constitutional.
I know nothing about that, whether that's true or not.
Jimmy Bags 86 said, next Mary will tell us she likes American The Office better than the British version, but seriously, Japanese humor is very different from American.
The real question is, how do you feel about that Australian version of The Office that's coming out with the female Michael Scott?
Hate it. Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it.
I don't know if I like the British version or the American version better.
I don't know anyone that likes the British version better.
I liked it. It was just a little bit too solemn for me. But I'm American. I like American humor better than British humor.
British is designed. Watch the show Wallander. It's this Kenneth Branagh police drama, and it's like when I got done, I was like, I need a Prozac. It's that depressing. I love it.
It's the way that in Attack on Titan, when the characters were upset, they would just scream bloody murder. That struck me. Like, do Japanese people feel emotions the same way that Western people do? Because you certainly are showing how emotionally suppressed you are, that this is what you think constitutes being upset. It's screaming. Gabby Hayes said, Mary, what is a cartoon you actually like or appreciate? Asking for the chat so we can roast you. Also, Brunette Brett for the win. Not sorry.
Yeah, well, I've taken...
Blonde Brett is what you guys paid for.
I've taken all of your insults in your comments about how you think I look better the other way, and I've said, thanks, I appreciate it.
As for cartoons I actually like, I like a lot of the OG Cartoon Network ones, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I like Adventure Time. I like Regular Show. I like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but yeah, I mean, I guess SpongeBob would also count if you're just talking about the first 3 or 4 seasons. Then it went really bad. Tom Bombaderp said, women are 51% of the population. They're only considered a minority because women are also bad at math. That is all. So true.
I didn't see that one.
And
I missed that one.
Ryle Kittenhouse sent an upside down
smiley face. Thank you.
Luis Aguilar said, being anti-overly socialized is not enough. You have to be actively anti-overly socialized. Be a man.
Be a man.
Urashima Otaru said, always the one-half white black man obsessed with race. It's always the Sean Kings of the world that are so obsessed with their blackness. Yeah, I need to personally ship Sean King some of my extra strength SPF sunscreen. He definitely needs it in this time of year.
There you go. All right. Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you very much for that. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate about my review of Attack on Titan on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived.
All right, guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. If you'd like to watch this show, we are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen to this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. Mary, there's one more there from Mr. X.
He said, Attack on Titan is trash. Try a decent one like Cowboy Bebop. I'm done with anime. I'm not reviewing any more animes. I'm done with this genre. I don't care.
Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at PopCulture. There's one more there, Mary.
This one's from Tom Bombarder. He said, hang on. It ain't even 5. What do you think you're doing?
Well, the Super Chat, we're done with the Super Chats. We've read the Super Chats. We've answered the questions.
If you want to do a hostage crisis, get it out of your system now.
Yeah, you're welcome to keep going, but that's everything. But we did everything. And plus, everyone was saying they were upset about the Jonah Hill topic. I will turn this podcast around right now, and I will end it. So... at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at PopCulture Crisis, and on Instagram at PopCulture Crisis Pod. Mary, there's one more.
This one's from Francisco Sanchez Jr. He said, Elizabeth, I'm coming, Red Fox.
So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back, assuming that no other Super Chats come through in the next 5 seconds. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.